Hi, I'm Jeremy, designer and CEO of Mockup 3D. And I want to show you how Mockup 3D works by showing you how we created this ad using the demo at mockup3d.com/demo. Now, here's the ad. I'm going right quickly through it, and I'll put a link to it in the description, but you don't actually have to watch the whole thing because I'm going to basically go over all the elements just a lot slower and in more detail. So we actually created a page to create the ad at mockup3d.com/demo/ad. And you can feel free to go there and follow along with us. Let's take a look. So let's head over to mockup3d.com/demo/ad. And it creates a bunch of links for various shapes. And this would be great. You can follow along here, or you can go ahead and take those shapes and put your own artwork. If you do, send me something. I'd love to see it. But for now, let's take a look at this. And the first thing you need to do is download the images. And I've already done that. And actually I created them, but I put them there so you can follow along. So here they are, and they're Photoshop files, but I've rasterized the fonts, which means you don't have to get the right font to have them. So let's just jump right into it and take a look. So we're going to start with the can, like I did in the ad. And just going to go over the very basics here of Mockup 3D. If you don't understand anything else, understand this. You take an image, you drag it in, and you move it where you want to. And then you can move the 3D, you can move the image. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, we have another thing behind here. You notice we have a layers palette, very similar to Photoshop. So we have a little X, that's a delete. We can delete that. And then move it to wherever we want, move the can to wherever we want, and then we have a design. What we can do with that design, of course, is move on to the rest of the ad, but we can also export it. You hit this big red button, and you export an image. So that's the very basics, and let me show you again with the arrow this time. This is what I used before. And if you're asking why this is such a direct statement, this is what marketers call a call to action. I wanted people to see this demo, so I made it really clear. So we're going to take the arrow in. This is what I did, and then we can scale it down. It's another thing you can do. You can scale, you can rotate, and then I can move that like that. And we can, of course, move this anywhere. We can move it over to the side here. We can even move it here on the top, right on the lid here, or the tab right there, so you can see some color. So yeah, that's and then you can hide it. You can just, of course, use the little eye here, or you can hit H, the H key. You can hide it. So cool. Now we've got the can done. Let me move on to the next one and kind of show you exactly how. So let me go back here, hit my back button, and I'm going to show you the box. And a couple different things. One is, you may notice we have a background color. You can do that. You can set the color to different things if you want. You can change the hue or whatever. I'm going to use my little brand color here, which is 81234D. And that works. So cool. And then what I said is you can upload any image. So we're going to do that. And of course, actually, I'm going to expand that by hitting the images panel. And you can upload right into this, this canvas here. And put this image wherever you'd like. And then I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And then what I did is I duplicated it. And so you can hit this little thing to duplicate. See, Command J also works. D, the letter D works as well. And then we can rotate it. And then, since this is a Photoshop file, we can actually just use that. So we can open this in Photoshop, change the layers, resave it, and hide Photoshop. And we can replace this image by dragging right onto the layer. So you can see you're dragging right onto the layer, and you replace that image. This is great if you're trying logos, or you have different colors or something like that. You want to try different flavors, different varieties of logo, something like that. You can do that with the replace image command. And the next one is the shirt, which is a link. Now, this is an example of a link you can send online. Like, say you design this t-shirt. You can send this to a client, and they can take the link and go all the way around in 360. And as you probably saw in the ad, this link works on mobile. So you have a fully interactive 3D thing that works in mobile. You can send this to their clients. They can pinch and zoom, go all the way around. Works great on mobile. And just one note about mobile. This link works great on phones. But the editor, where you add the images, we haven't optimized it for mobile yet. It will work. We haven't gotten it there yet. So beware. So let's move on to the next one, which is back to the can. So what I was going to go over here was the shapes. So let's add a shape. And let's go ahead and hide the year design here. And shapes are pretty easy to change. You can go in a little shape panel, and you can take the width and go bloop, and you get this nice little kind of slim can. And you notice that only this outside has scaled, not the cap, because it's kind of an intelligent way of scaling. We only scale a bit of it. And the other thing, you have other shapes as well. You can change the height. And now you might be, oh, things have stretched out, but you can just unstretch them. So if you want, to get the proportions right, you can just totally do that. Now we will have some standard cans, standard like 8 ounce, 12 ounce, or whatever the metric ones are. Sorry, I'm an American. But we will be, but if you need to be somewhere in between or just play around with the shape, you can totally do that. I'm going to show you something else with shapes while we're here. I'm actually going to go ahead and go to the bag. And before we get into transparency, which is what I did in the ad, I actually want to show you a bit of the shapes here. So you can edit individual parts of the bag. So you can see just the top seal you can scale down, or scale up, or scale down. And then, for example, look at the bottom seal. You can make it sit like that, and you could even change the width, the depth here. So, again, it's a very intelligent way of changing the shapes. It's not just simply scaling and having everything stretched. But we can go ahead and reset all that. So we get our original shape here. And you may have already noticed that there's a window box here. This is where we're going to talk about transparency. In fact, let me get the little transparency image up there. Again, just dragged it right in there. It's a PSD file. So you look at the window box, and that's this is transparent. You can kind of see through it. You can see the parallax happen as we turn it. And that's caused by this layer here, which is called white with hole. And that's exactly what it is. It's a white image with a hole in the middle. And you see this little checkerboard pattern, which is, you see in most graphics software to indicate transparency. And we can go ahead and move that. We can move this anywhere we want. We can move it out to the side. You can see transparency there. What we can also do is just get rid of it. And then we have a completely transparent bag, except for the text. As you can see, we even have this back here. We can manipulate, and we can see right through it. But let's get back to the white with hole a bit. Let's get back to this window box. What happens if you want to put something in there? Well, we have something called an inside color, which will change, well, the inside color. You can make it red, you can make it dark gray, but you can also make it clear. So when we export, we get a PNG, clear PNG, and the window box is clear. So we could put, food or whatever behind there. So that's a pretty cool thing. Now let me go over to the tube, where we're going to talk about metallics and gloss. But before we talk about that, I actually want to talk about colors. So I'm going to go ahead and open the tube by opening the images panel here. And you may notice that the cap is slightly different than the body. This is pretty typical in tubes like this. And so we actually have colored layers here. So we have a cap, which, this is the body, sorry. Body's below it. We can change the color there, or we can change the cap color. We can make that they're all, or that's the body color as well. You can change the cap color, make that a blue or whatever. But I'm going to leave this the way it is. But I want to keep them slightly different, because usually the caps are slightly different than the body. And you can add another color layer by going here and just adding a color. So we can move that all around. But let's do the fun thing, which is metallics. So we're going to add a word that says metallics. And we have a gray and a yellow. I'm not going to call it a silver and a gold, because it's not. But to make it a silver and a gold, we just hit this little M. That's M for metallics. And boom. Any layer can be metallic in any color. So you can see that we have nice reflections in there, and it's reflecting in color in a metallic kind of way. And this can be any color you want. Like, for example, here, let me show you a rose gold that I have. It's basically an orange color. But as you can guess by the text here, it's going to turn into a rose gold. So you can see the reflections even in this thin one. And it would be, you know, equivalent to if you foil stamped something like that. You'd be able to show that to clients. So let me go ahead and go on the back here like I did in the ad and bring in gloss. This is a close in color to the original. So you don't really see much of anything until you hit the G. G is for glossy. M is for metallic. G is for glossy. And now it's glossy. Actually, I think I changed the color a little bit. But so now you can see it's basically like the equivalent of a spot varnish. And you can have both metallic and glossy. There's no reason you can't. But we're going to stick with glossy for now. And it doesn't just have to be glossy. Like if you go into expand this layer, you can see if we do it here, you can change the name, among other things, but we can also turn down the gloss. Right now it's at 50, which is fully glossy, but we can go all the way to -50, which actually makes it matte. So now this, you can see that the surface of the tube is actually more glossy than here, even so we can adjust glossiness per layer. So let's bring it up to glossy again, because that's kind of fun. But let's go to my last thing, which is this tagline. This is kind of an interesting one, because it's basically just a 2D thing that you can manipulate in 3 dimensions. So if we go into the images panel, and I bring up, like I did, these backgrounds, you can see we have a background layer and a text layer. And whatever this is changes the shape of this object. So these shapes, if you change them, changes what's here. And we can do some other things with it. Like, for example, some of the shape stuff, we can bend this horizontally and negatively as well. And we can bend it vertically. So again, this is just an image that you can project wherever you want. So that's kind of fun. And so that's the ad there. So feel free to play with any of these that you want, or you can go to the regular demo and play with any of these, which are basically the same thing as well. Have fun. I'd love to see what you come up with. I actually can't see them, so please show me. If you guys come up with something really cool, take a screenshot or take a render of it and show me. I'd love to see it. By the way, that actually goes in general. If you have any questions, comments, issues, ideas, feel free to email me. Any feedback would be great. Love to see what you think. I'm creating this by designers, for designers. So I really want to make sure this is truly useful. All right. Well, thank you very much and hope to talk to you soon. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.